everybody, welcome back to Tea for Tara. I'm Tara, and today I want to talk about something that is a really big part of my life, living in Manhattan, New York City. A lot of people around the world know New York from movies and TV shows. They see the tall buildings, they see Times Square, they see yellow taxis, but living here every day is a totally different experience. Sometimes I forget that things I see all the time are things people travel thousands of miles to see. And that's why today I want to tell you what it's actually like to be an 11-year-old girl growing up in Manhattan. Maybe you've never been here. Maybe you live in a small town. Maybe you live in another country. So come with me for a few minutes and I'll show you why I love living here. The first thing I love about Manhattan is that it feels like an adventure every single day. Even when I'm just walking down the street, something interesting is usually happening. You might see a street musician playing a violin. You might see a dog wearing a tiny jacket. You might see somebody filming a movie. You might walk past an artist painting a picture. You never really know what you're going to see. That's one of the things that makes New York feel alive. Every day feels a little different. Another thing I love is that there are people from all over the world here. When I walk around Manhattan, I hear different languages all the time. Sometimes I hear Spanish, sometimes French, sometimes Chinese, sometimes languages I don't even recognize. It's like the whole world decided to meet in one city. I think that's really cool because you learn that people can come from very different places but still share the same city together. Now let's talk about the parks. A lot of people think Manhattan is only skyscrapers, but that's not true at all. One of my favorite places is Central Park. Central Park is enormous. You can walk through forests, see giant rocks, find ponds, watch people rowing boats, and discover places that almost make you forget you're in the middle of a giant city. There are playgrounds, there are performers, there are people riding bikes, there are people walking dogs. Sometimes there are musicians playing, sometimes there are artists drawing pictures. Every time I visit, I notice something new. One of my favorite places inside Central Park is Sheep Meadow. On a nice day, you'll see families, friends, tourists, people reading books, people having picnics, and people just relaxing on the grass. It's one of those places that makes New York feel peaceful. And yes, peaceful New York really does exist. I also love Broadway. Broadway is one of the most exciting things about living here. People come from all over the world to see Broadway shows. Imagine being able to see incredible actors, giant sets, amazing costumes, live music, and special effects all in one night. There is something magical about sitting in a theater while the lights go down and the curtain rises. For a few hours, you get transported into another world. One night you might see a comedy, another night a fantasy, another night a musical with giant dance numbers. It's one of my favorite things about New York. Now let's talk about food. This is one of the best parts. If you love food, Manhattan is amazing. You can find pizza on one block, sushi on another, Chinese food around the corner, Italian food, Indian food, Greek food, Mexican food, Korean food, Middle Eastern food, and lots of desserts too. Sometimes it feels like you could spend your whole life trying different restaurants and still never finish. One thing I love is that you can try foods from countries you may never have visited. It's like taking a trip around the world without leaving the city. Another thing that's fun is that you don't need a car for most things. A lot of people outside New York think that's strange. But I can walk places, ride the subway, take a bus, or hop on a ferry. The ferry rides are one of my favorite things. You get incredible views of the skyline. You can see bridges, you can see boats, you can see the water sparkling in the sun. And sometimes it feels like you're on a mini vacation, even though you're still in New York City. One of the coolest trips is taking a ferry to Governor's Island. Governor's Island is such a fun place. There are bike paths, there are open lawns, there are great views of Manhattan, there are places to relax, there are fun events, and there is even a small beach area where you can sit near the water and enjoy the view. When you're there, it's hard to believe you're only minutes away from one of the busiest cities in the world. Then there's Coney Island. I absolutely love going there. You can ride rides, walk on the boardwalk, play games, get snacks, and spend time at the beach. One minute you're surrounded by skyscrapers in Manhattan. The next minute you're putting your feet in the ocean. That still amazes me. Not every city lets you go from giant buildings to a beach adventure so easily. Another thing I love is how many famous places are nearby. There is Times Square. The giant screens make it feel like you're inside a science fiction movie. At night, everything glows. The lights are everywhere. The energy is incredible. There is also the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building and so many museums. One weekend you can explore dinosaurs. The next weekend you can look at famous paintings. The next weekend you can learn about space. There's always something new to discover. What I really love most though is that Manhattan makes me feel connected to the world. People come here from everywhere. Artists come here, actors come here, musicians come here, writers come here, dreamers come here. People arrive with big goals and big ideas. When you grow up around that energy, it inspires you. It makes you think maybe your own dreams are possible too. Of course, Manhattan isn't perfect. Sometimes it's crowded, sometimes it's noisy, sometimes the subway is delayed. Sometimes there are way too many people trying to get somewhere all at once. But honestly, that's part of what makes New York feel like New York. It's busy because people are living their lives. They're going to work, they're meeting friends, they're creating things, they're chasing dreams. And somehow all those stories come together in one place. When I think about living in Manhattan, I think about the parks, the ferries, the Broadway shows, the restaurants, the museums, the beaches, the skyline, the excitement, and the feeling that something amazing might happen around the next corner. That's why I love living here. New York City isn't just where I live, it's part of who I am. And even though there are many beautiful places in the world, I feel lucky to call Manhattan home. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Tea for Tara. If you've ever been to New York, tell me your favorite place. And if you've never visited, maybe someday you'll come and experience the magic for yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.